What would you do if you found out your family's love was built on lies, and you were the pawn in their silent war? My name is Ellie, and at 16, I thought I knew my family mom, with her tired smiles and endless shifts at the diner, Grandma, with her warm hugs and stories of better days. But beneath the surface, secrets were festering, and I was about to become the weapon in a battle I didn't even know was being fought. It started with the bills. They piled up on the kitchen counter, stamped with red ink. Past due, final notice. Mom said it was nothing, just grown-up stuff, but her eyes darted away when I asked. Grandma, who lived with us since Grandpa passed, would sigh and mutter about reckless spending. I didn't understand then, but I felt the weight of their words, heavy like the air before a storm. Our little house in Ohio, with its peeling paint and creaky floors, was starting to feel like a cage. Mom worked double shifts, but the money never seemed to stick. She'd come home smelling of coffee and grease, her hands cracked from washing dishes. She'd hug me, promise things would get better, but I could see the strain in her face. Grandma, though, was different. She'd sit in her rocking chair, knitting, her eyes sharp as she watched Mom. "Your mother's digging a hole, Ellie," she'd say when Mom wasn't around. And we're all falling in. I thought she was just being dramatic, like when she'd talk about the good old days before Mom ruined everything. One night, I overheard them arguing. I was supposed to be asleep, but the walls in our house were thin. "You maxed out my credit card, Sarah," Grandma hissed. $10,000. How am I supposed to live? Mom's voice was low, desperate. "I needed it, Ma. For Ellie. For the house. I'll pay it back." Grandma scoffed. "You've been saying that for years. You're drowning us." I lay in bed, heart pounding, wondering how Mom could have done that to Grandma. But I didn't dare ask. I just pulled the blanket over my head and pretended I hadn't heard. The next morning, Grandma was different. She made me pancakes, her hands trembling as she flipped them. "Ellie," she said, her voice soft but firm, "you're a good girl. You do anything for family, right?" I nodded, confused. She slid a piece of paper across the tablier form, filled with questions about our home, our life. "It's for a community program," she said. "They want to help families like ours. Just answer honestly, okay?" I trusted her. Why wouldn't I? So I wrote about Mom's long hours, how she sometimes forgot to buy groceries, how the heat got turned off last winter. I didn't think twice. Grandma smiled, tucked the form away, and said, "You're helping us, sweetheart." Weeks passed, and things got worse. Mom was jumpier, snapping at me over small things. Grandma stopped talking to her altogether. Then, one Tuesday, everything shattered. I came home from school to find a woman in a suit at our door, talking to Mom. Her face was pale, her hands shaking as she clutched a stack of papers. "Ellie, go to your room," she said, but I stayed frozen. The woman introduced herself as Ms. Carter from Child Protective Services. "We received a report about neglect," she said, her eyes flicking to me. "Neglect?" My stomach dropped. Mom turned to me, her voice breaking. "Ellie, what did you do?" I didn't understand. I hadn't done anything. But then I saw Grandma in the doorway, her face unreadable. Ms. Carter explained that someone had submitted a detailed report about our living conditions, Mom's absences, the unpaid bills, the empty fridge. It was all true, but twisted, like a funhouse mirror version of our life. I recognized the words, the exact phrases I'd written on that form for Grandma. My heart sank. "Grandma," I whispered, but she wouldn't meet my eyes. That's when the twist came, sharp and unexpected. Ms. Carter mentioned another name on the report, not Grandma's, but Mr. Dawson's. He was our neighbor, a quiet man who lived across the street, always tinkering with his old car. I barely knew him, but Grandma did. She'd been spending afternoons at his place, supposedly for company. Now I saw it. Grandma had used Mr. Dawson to file the report, hiding her own hand. She'd manipulated me into giving her the ammunition, then passed it to him to pull the trigger. I felt sick, betrayed by the one person I thought I could trust. Mom was hysterical, begging Ms. Carter to understand. "I'm doing my best," she cried. "I'm trying to keep us together." Ms. Carter was calm, but firm. "We'll need to investigate further. Ellie may need to stay elsewhere temporarily." The room spun. "Stay elsewhere? Leave Mom?" I looked at Grandma, hoping for an explanation, but she just stared at the floor. Later, when Ms. Carter left, Mom collapsed on the couch, sobbing. "Why would you tell them those things, Ellie?" she asked. I tried to explain about the form, about Grandma, but the words felt hollow. Mom didn't believe me. She thought I'd betrayed her. The investigation dragged on. I stayed with a foster family for 2 weeks, a kind couple who tried to make me feel at home, but I felt like a stranger. Mom called every day, her voice raw with guilt and fear. "I'm fixing this, Ellie," she promised. "I'll make it right." I wanted to believe her, but I was angry at her, at Grandma, at myself. I kept replaying that form, my own words used against us. I'd been so naive. When I finally came home, things were different. Mom had enrolled in a debt management program, started therapy. She was trying, really trying, but the trust between us was frayed. Grandma moved out, back to her own place, and we barely spoke. I saw Mr. Dawson once, working on his car. He waved, but I turned away. He'd been a pawn too, I realized, but it didn't make it hurt less. In the end, we survived, but not without scars. Mom and I are rebuilding piece by piece, but it's slow. I learned that love can be messy, even cruel, when desperation takes hold. Grandma thought she was saving me, but she broke something in our family that may never fully heal. And me? I'm learning to forgive not just her, but myself. Because sometimes the hardest truth is that we hurt the ones we love, even when we don't mean to.